got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face. And I think we really have to put an emphasis on the players that are in our league right now. But I love to see the league growing. I think, you know, adding these teams in Philly and Detroit, like, that's how amazing is that the league can grow. But how cool would it also be to have like a little bit expansion on the rosters? Like, let's focus on the teams that have everything set up right now, and maybe focus on the teams also that find excuses continuously to lack investment into their players.
WNBA players reject first CBA offer. 3 months ago, Kat Engelbert claimed to be optimistic about ongoing negotiations. I guess all that optimism has suddenly disappeared. Now, to be fair, this is not unusual. It's not unusual to see players reject the first offer they receive. But like I told you guys before, this is going to be a tough negotiation for Kat Engelbert.
Is the WNBA on the verge of self-destruction? The players have just rejected a brand new deal. Expansion is moving faster than ever, and Caitlin Clark's back feels like it's breaking from carrying the entire league. Let's break down why the 2026 season might be in serious danger of getting canceled, and who's really at fault.
Kat Engelbert, I'm sure she thought that everyone was going to be thrilled with the expansion of the WNBA. I'm sure she thought the cities of Cleveland, Philadelphia, Detroit would be throwing parades welcoming unknown dump divers to their city. I'm sure she thought WNBA players would be doing something that they have never done before, not complaining. I'm sure the dump diva thought, the players have been demanding more money, so I've got the perfect solution. We'll open 3 new dumps, which will give players the opportunity to play more games. That way, they'll almost be above the poverty line. This idea is great!
So, let's start with the spark that lit this fire. The WNBA handed the players' union their opening proposal for the next collective bargaining agreement. Sounds routine, right? Except Phoenix Mercury star Sato Sabali didn't sugarcoat it. She called the offer a slap in the face. And let's be honest, that's more than just frustration. That's raw anger. That's players saying they feel insulted and ignored. Now remember, this proposal dropped right after the league proudly announced shiny new expansion teams in Philadelphia, Detroit, and the Bay Area. The league was celebrating growth, but the players? Not so much. Sabali made it crystal clear that this fight isn't only about money. Players want bigger rosters, better facilities, and real investment in the teams already struggling. She's not wrong either. Too many franchises are still held together by 10-day contracts, hardship deals, and overcrowded benches. And now we're adding 3 more teams? So the real question becomes this: is the league growing too fast without securing its foundation? Or are players pushing back against the only system finally feeding them? If you think this is just noise, think again. Look back at Major League Baseball in 1994. Everything was going great, fans were hyped, competition was tight. Then boom, a labor strike. The postseason vanished. No World Series. Just silence, and fans were furious. Baseball barely recovered, and only thanks to the steroid-fueled home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Now picture that happening to the WNBA. Except here's the problem. Baseball had a century of tradition, generations of fans, and loyalty baked in. The WNBA? It's only just starting to gain momentum. And honestly, most of that momentum sits on the shoulders of one player, Caitlin Clark. If the league goes on strike, there's no guarantee the audience sticks around, no guarantee the networks keep paying, and no history to cushion the fall. The WNBA simply cannot afford a mistake of this magnitude. So what happens if both sides dig in their heels? This might sound harsh, but it's the truth. The WNBA's growth isn't being driven by the league itself. It's being powered almost entirely by Caitlin Clark. Her games sell out. Her jerseys vanish from stores. ESPN wants to spend more because of her. That's not disrespect. That's just reality. But here's what makes it all so fragile. Everything rests on one player. If Clark gets injured, if she leaves for Europe or for Unrivaled, If she just gets tired of being hit with no protection, then the entire momentum collapses overnight. It's like building a skyscraper on a single steel beam. It looks solid until it doesn't. Players believe they have leverage, and maybe they do, but most of it exists because of one woman. And that's dangerous, because if Clark walks, the whole house of cards tumbles. Now, to be clear, the players aren't just complaining for the sake of it. They're making statements at Media Day. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson went public. "We're fighting for a fair share of the business we helped build." And honestly, that's fair. Attendance is up, ratings are up, a new media deal is on the horizon, so why shouldn't players get more money? Here's the flip side. In almost 30 years, the WNBA has never turned a profit. Not once. So when players demand million-dollar salaries and elite facilities, where does that money come from? It's complicated. Are players undervalued? Do they create the league's value? Absolutely. But if the business can't support those demands, are they truly realistic? Don't forget, 80% of the players will be free agents next year. That's massive leverage. But leverage only works if the system itself is strong enough to carry the weight. Right now, is it? We don't have official numbers yet, but reports say the WNBA offered top salaries in the $500,000 to $750,000 range. Considering the previous max was $250,000, that's a huge jump. Triple the current ceiling. Still, players reportedly want more. Some are pushing for million-dollar base deals, others dreaming of $2 million superstar contracts. But here's the harsh math. The league generated just over $60 million last year. That's less than a mid-tier NBA team makes from merch alone. If every player gets $1 million, the league goes bankrupt almost instantly. So, are the players chasing fairness, or gambling with the WNBA's future? Clark herself dropped another truth bomb this week. She pointed out players earn more money winning the Commissioner's Cup, a side tournament, than they do winning the actual WNBA championship. Think about that. The championship earns $11,000. The cup pays $30,000. That's like getting paid more for winning a raffle than taking home an Olympic gold medal. She's not just playing ball, she's exposing a broken system. And here's another problem. Expansion means more cities, 45 more players, extra coaches, arenas, travel costs, and yes, finally charter flights. Sounds like progress, right? Except some teams still struggle for basic practice gyms and decent locker rooms. Players still stay in budget hotels. Roster spots are still so limited that healthy, talented players can't even get real minutes. The league added 12 games in the last 4 years and wants to push toward 50 or 60. Are players ready for that? Is the infrastructure? This is a marathon, not a sprint. Take off too fast, and you'll blow out your knees before you reach the finish line. Here's another reality check. WNBA players don't actually need the WNBA to survive. Overseas leagues in Turkey, Russia, Italy, China, they're paying higher salaries, offering first-class perks, housing, and facilities. Some even provide security escorts. For many players, Europe is already a better deal.